Today I want to show you how to see what your CPU is up to, what programs are running on it, and what percentage of your CPU is being used. To start, you go down here to the taskbar at the bottom of your screen and right click. From here, click on Start Task Manager. This will bring up your Task Managers page, which will most likely open up on this Processes tab. Here you'll see a list of programs that your computer is currently using. If you click here on the CPU box, highlighted in blue when you hover over it, you will sort it. So you sort the list so that the programs that are using most of your CPU will show up on top. For my computer right now, my video capture software is using up about 40% of my CPU. If you come and look down here on the bottom of this window, you'll notice that the CPU usage is quite a bit higher than just that 40%. You'll also notice that I currently have 83 processes running, which is actually pretty high. However, if you look at this list, you'll notice I don't have 83 things here. If you click on this button that says Show Processes from all users, then your Windows Task Manager window will refresh, and now you can see all of my processes that are running. Now, you may think, well, if I look down here, I see a whole lot that says a CPU has 0 all down this list. What that means is it's not necessarily using 0, but it's using less than 0. We can see this by going over to our Performance tab, which shows you a cool running graph of what your CPU is doing, as well as your usage. But if you go down here to your Resource Monitor, it will open up a more detailed view of what your CPU is up to. Now if you scroll down a little bit, again, if it's sorted by CPU up here at the top, you'll see that all of these say CPU of 0. However, if you look over here to the right, you'll see that even these ones that say 0, under average CPU, they're actually more than just 0. You have 0.09, 0.36, 0.79, so it's even close to 1. But you get enough of these doing more than 0, and they'll add up to quite a lot, especially if you have 83 processes going. So between this Resource Monitor window and your Windows Task Manager window, that's the way to say what your CPU is doing. Now, in my blog I mentioned running some programs and your CPU having to deal with all of that. I'll leave it back on the Performance tab. Now let's say I opened up my email. Opening up an email program, or any program, will always make a spike in your CPU, as you see right here, because your CPU is running and trying to open this program. Now while that's running in the background, let's open up a Word document. Let's start typing some stuff. Again, you'll notice over here in your chart that when I opened up a window, or Microsoft Word, the CPU had to run to open up that software. After it does that, it puts most of the work back onto the RAM, which is for another section, and then but it still does a little bit more work as it's trying to keep track of what you're doing here, which it didn't have to keep track of before. Another thing is music. So if we want to run music in the background, you'll notice as it's starting it up, it's going to spike up the use of the CPU, which you'll see right here. It's shot up to 100%, so it's way up there. If I want to play a song, and then minimize this window. Okay, so now I have my email in the background and my music playing in the background while I'm working on my Word document. And now my CPU is working about 10% harder than it was before. What this is proving is that the more programs you have open, even if you're not using them, the more your CPU has to work just to keep them open or just to keep them running in the background, like music or my email, which is constantly checking for new email in the background. So there you have it. That kind of gives you a little overview about how you can get a visual on what your CPU is up to. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment on this video or a comment on my blog, and I would love to help you learn more about figuring out what your CPU does. Thanks for watching.